How's it going, everyone? Wink to
No.
another episode of No Excuses on YouTube.com with your once and future queen, Ara Still.
Venerian.
Filtered. And also, we're here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week that was, or at least those of us who had a week might be going to. I, on the other hand, descended into the great abyss and have only just emerged. But if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. You can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in the Discord server, and you can get to that by clicking on the link that will be provided in the show description underneath the show archive on YouTube.
Wink.
No. So yeah, you've been watching too much Neuro lately.
I have been.
Also,
It just
looking at that thing there on your head.
yeah. I might have finally did a thing.
You did do a thing, and it means it's the sign of a masochist, is what that is.
Yes. I hated myself enough to finally finish the Eureka Orthos project and got the solo clear. I recorded the last 10 floors. They're in the free company and the MMO channel, I think. I posted it in both because I was so excited.
Yes.
And yeah, that's all there. I'll talk about that in my week. But I wanted to show off the title, so I made us come to the house.
Fair enough.
I don't have titles on, so I can't see it.
Yep, the once and future title.
The once and future queen. It is amazing sitting in front of the entrance to the deep dungeon because people that know what the title is will immediately target you.
Yes. This is the mark of a crazy person. Let's talk to them.
Yes, this person is certifiable and needs to go in a mental home. They actually suffered through Eureka Orthos solo.
Yeah.
It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in this game.
Yeah. But we will get to that in a moment. Because while we got to trim through both Vaul and my week, neither of us actually did anything.
Yeah.
No, it was one of those weeks, and I'm stuck in that particular country for a while.
Yes. As am I, between both work and wedding prep and all sorts of other fun stuff. But hey, there's a holiday coming.
Maybe for you.
Yeah, it's not a proper holiday. It's still a doing things holiday, but it's still, not work.
I don't even get Anzac Day off. Like,
Ouch. Well, actually, neither do I, so, yeah.
I don't have any days off. I'm about to go into hell.
So, yeah, adulting as usual. What did you just do?
I tried to queue us for Pharaoh Series hard, but you still don't. Have you unlocked it now, Fern?
I thought I did. Hang on.
evidently you did
no,
a very poor job.
I've got to go back to Limsa for one quick moment. I've got to go click on a thing.
Yeah, so instead of doing a deep dungeon this week, because
we've been doing that a lot.
I personally need a breather.
Also that. What
Before
the hell?
This is why we start the show at the house.
Yeah, there's a guy here with the Tonberry head on his regular armor, except it's huge and it's jet black. I think he has actually burned a vial of jet black on it. So he looks like one of the bad guys out of Kingdom Hearts. It's kind of weird.
I see.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just going for one of the band glamours. The ones that they won't post on Eorzea collection anymore.
Yeah, or on one of the main fashion discords. Like, they're like, it's funny the first week, but can we stop?
Can you please not? I mean, at least they've stopped posting, that glamour with the Tonberry costume.
Oh, that's the one we were talking about.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is a slightly different one, but it's still just disturbing. Anyway, that should do it. We should be able to go in there now.
So instead, this week, I'm taking them through some Blue Mage stuff and getting them some basic spells they need to operate as a Blue Mage. Specifically, the ones they need a group for, I'm going to focus on. And I'm just going to blitz stuff and help them get some basic spells.
Yes, largely,
so, like
this is content we haven't touched. We've just kind of neglected Blue Mage.
I guess we might as well do a full clear since Fern hadn't done the dungeon yet.
Well, I mean, realistically, you're just going to one-shot everything. So,
Whee! This
So,
camera.
yeah.
This camera.
I've gotten very, very handy with Mechanist.
well, in a certain narrow context.
Yeah, you could not make me play this class properly in real content. It just wouldn't work. Because I have sat there and got this class down for deep dungeons, but this involves a lot of burst banking and knowing when to unload and when to hold back a little bit. And so what I'll find myself doing is sitting on full charge for just a mob. I won't do like, Fern does sometimes, and just sit on the dang thing forever. But
yeah, it's a bad habit. I shouldn't do that.
But I will go whole mobs where I just don't blow the robot, because I'm like, oh, the mob's got 20% left. I don't want to waste the robot. I want its full DPS value. Where's the hole in the ground? Here it is.
Over here. Whee! Oh, hello. There's a pipe here.
Yeah, there's a pipe to catch you if you fall on it. So we needed to cast Ethereal Mimicry.
Is that something that we trigger, or does it just happen at some point?
I don't know. I do not remember this one being particularly hard to get. I'm tempted to get aggro on him. But yeah, just I'll watch the boss to open the battle log and see when he casts it.
Yeah. I'll just white wind. It's fine.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of threat if you do that.
Yeah.
You also better have that lucid dreaming button ready.
Whoop.
Action
There it is.
learned.
You got it?
Yep.
Cool.
I think it's actually one of the ads that has it.
That's possible.
Yeah, it must be, because boss was still alive when we got it.
Yeah, so that is the most important utility ability on Blue Mage. It will allow you to boost your crit rate by a lot, like 20%, or allow you to adopt tank or healer properties whenever the heck you want.
Huh. Convenient.
And that's a permanent buff. So yeah, Fern, you got a week.
No, I didn't. I really didn't do a whole lot this week. Most of my gaming, honestly, actually more than anything, I suppose I played was Crab Battle.
Crab battle.
You play Crab Champions?
I played Crab Champions.
So, because when you say Crab Battle,
Crab Battle is a
I
different game.
I think of Crab Fight.
Crab Fight, yes. What is it with all the games about crabs? But,
Crab battle.
It's only a fairly recent thing. It's all these games about crabs. So, yeah, it's a very simple game. It's you are crab with gun, go shoot, go pew pew bang bang, collect items to make you shoot bang better, and repeat with an absolutely rockin' soundtrack. Oh, gotta run away from that. Away from that.
No.
Oh, he's dead. Okay.
He did. So yeah, the Fight Crab is the one with the banging soundtrack. I could take or leave most of the stuff in.
White Crab has
Crab Champions.
a soundtrack that's stripped straight out of a 90s shonen anime, is what that is. Not saying that's a bad thing, but it's a thing.
Moonspeaky, Crabbo Bateau.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically been it. Haven't even watched any anime. It's just been a crazy week getting everything organized for, wedding and going away and life in general. Even what should have been a quiet weekend because it's Drunk Cowboys, but Drunk Cowboys happening to someone else. So normally that weekend around here is quiet. But no, not quiet. We had gigantic birthday parties and football players instead. So, I'm really actually trying to find it. I did do a little bit of something else, but I think we'll just backpack that onto Ari's week as well, because it's going to be all about you this week, my dude.
Oh boy. That's okay. I can stretch that. I don't have much to say about it in raw terms, but I do have some substantive things to stretch on what I know you're alluding to.
Yep. So I'm going to leave my week at that because that's it. Unless you want me to talk about Lego Masters, but you don't want me to talk about Lego Masters.
What's wrong with Lego Masters?
Lego Masters is awesome. It's just not really something that we can talk about on the show. It is nerdy though. Oh, I hate how these things are animated. They're so twitchy. Actually, come to think of it, has Lego Masters actually made it over to the States?
Nope, never heard of it.
What it is, it's a reality TV show. It's basically competitive Lego building.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. It's kind of a brainchild of a comedian / radio host in Australia here, Hamish Blake. I don't mind the guy, he's kind of funny. But basically got in touch with Lego and set up this reality competition. It's a bunch of people all pair up and build ridiculously detailed Lego models. And they do it within, they'll get maybe anywhere between 2 to 16 hours to build. And some of the stuff they come out with is just insane. And in some challenges, they get to smash it, which is always fun. But no one really kind of banked on it actually working in the first place. But it did, as it turned out, and it's become so ridiculously popular that even Lego's head office is starting to send some of their bigwigs to show up and be guest judges.
Okay. I need to do a pseudo tangent here.
Oh, okay.
When you were kids and you played with Legos, age appropriate.
Yeah.
Did either of you have any female friends that used to sit with you and play with the Legos with you?
Not really.
I don't remember. I don't remember any of them taking an interest in Lego.
Okay. They weren't really interested in playing with the Legos either, but they liked watching me play with the Legos. But I had a lot of female friends from the neighborhood because most of the neighborhood was girls. And I remember one time I had built something absolutely ginormous. It wasn't, I was like 7 or whatever. And when I finished building it, it was done. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And the first thing I did was pick it up and smash it after it was done. And the girls were just aghast that I would do this.
I can't relate. I tended not to break down the things that I built for quite some time. Like I would build and configure something the way I wanted, and then I'd basically put it on the shelf as a display piece for a week or two until I got sick of it, and then I'd break it down and build another thing instead.
Oh man, the smashing part was so much fun. It was half the fun. Was all the work you put into you just smash it.
I did that. I only did that with really large scale stuff, like stuff that was built primarily on a really large scale. So with Duplo as the foundation or something like that, because building large things out of Lego takes too long.
Yeah, it was a kit. I tried to keep it together as long as possible. But if it's something I built myself, no, odds are it was a truck that we built to smash into each other deliberately.
Yeah, like boys built stuff with the stray Legos, like the kits and stuff. Yeah, I would keep those around for a while too, and they would live their lifespan until they sort of have the pieces fall off or whatever, and then they get smashed. But if it was just some thing from where I was just playing with the Legos, the stray Legos in the Lego box, oh man, it was so much fun smashing those things after you finish building it.
Yeah. Never underestimate just how satisfying smashing Legos can be.
But doing that in front of a bunch of girls, I think I traumatized them. Like, they just didn't get it.
Oh dear. So yeah, Lego is such a good time. And even as an adult, I like sitting down and just building Lego sets. I don't really have time to build anything on my own, but building it.
I don't think I ever really did violence to any models that I built of Lego generally, because what I associated, the thing that I associated with applying force to Legos was personal injury.
Yeah.
Lego, I don't know, like, I always felt Lego brick corners were incredibly razor sharp.
Oh yeah, absolutely they were.
No. Oh, my parents would get so mad at me whenever I didn't clean up my Legos, and even if they didn't step on them, if I left one Lego on the floor, they would give me an earful for it.
All right, I meant to come get these things. Let me see. Alexa, hi Alexa. I'll come back and do that later. I just remembered about the magic pot over on this island, which I've been dumped onto apparently.
Yeah, the one that gives you the 2 pets. Don't worry, when you do the relic weapons, you'll have to go down there a lot. So, I guess I'll start taking y'all through the primals. These can go really fast, or they can go really not.
Where's Fern gone?
I don't know. He got ported away because of the quest.
Yeah, I got dumped on a beach in the middle of nowhere.
So let me pull up my spellbook. Find the names of the abilities so I can know what to look for. Eruption. Okay, we'll get it.
Oh, it's supposed to be going to Aleport. I should have actually read the quest. That's a good idea usually.
Yeah. So okay, that was just my tangent over. I just wanted to bring that up.
All right. And I'm just going to leave my week at that because that's basically it. It's been a very, very dry week. Vaul, how dry was your week?
It was exhausting. I'm still on my pattern of 14-hour days of just general flailing about, attempting to get things done, generally failing because I don't have enough people to get everything done, and I don't know. This is still going to carry on for another couple months, but maybe it'll be shorter than that if they fire me for not doing it fast enough. It could happen. I don't know.
It could happen.
Yeah, so I'm sort of outrageously tired all the time, pretty much. Like, I think probably last night was the first decent sleep I've had in quite some time.
Either you get it?
Nope.
May have been a little bit quick on the draw there.
No, I saw it cast.
Oh, hey, the mount dropped, though.
Yeah, pop back to Shirogane so I can see when you're out of the dungeon, by the way, Fern.
Give me a sec, just to hand this in. Get rid of it.
But yeah, so I didn't have much of a week. I didn't do anything. I tried to get started on the FGO event. I didn't make much progress though because I just didn't have the time for it. So I'm only like a little ways into the story. The story is incredibly silly. The songs are quite nice if you like intentionally sort of schlocky idol music. It's sort of fun to have all the usual suspects singing idol songs because they've suddenly decided they want to be idols for some reason. But yeah, it's been an entertaining event. Yes, you've got to build up your idol glow.
Which is glow stick power.
Which is basically another bullshit particle, of which they have
many.
have encountered many so far, including there's the I can't remember what they're called, but there's a particle. There's like a Gouda particle.
Yes.
And there's also a particle associated with Elizabeth. But yeah, it's just a silly story of the usual sort of silly stories that they often tell when they're doing the off-season things. But yeah, I'm relatively entertained by it. I intend to complete it, but we'll see how things go. I'm a victim of the amount of time I've got at my disposal right now. So yeah.
Fern,
what
don't
else?
face push him. Don't face push him.
All right.
There's I did watch the
Oh, there it goes.
that time I reincarnated as a slime movie last week. It's objectively not a good movie.
Okay.
It's not, but it's sort of objectively not a good movie in entirely predictable ways. I think it's just a limitation of the medium, really. Like it's everybody knows that for an anime series, it's nearly impossible to do a half decent movie. I need a white wind.
I also do, because he's not falling over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
he's
I'm
invulnerable.
relying on you to white wind because I can't do it.
All right, now we need to run away.
Are we gonna die?
Maybe.
Well, y'all spawned the chains really far away from each other, so I'm trying to physic you.
Is this a... There we go.
And if you are wondering why in the world do you have physic on your bar? The answer is Eureka Orthos.
Yes. That's usually the answer.
I don't have any defensive abilities.
That's fine. Now we can kill him. There he goes.
But he didn't use
Yeah.
eruption because somebody pushed him out of
No,
that
he did.
phase.
He did. He cast
Really? I didn't see it.
Yeah, I saw him cast it on me. I saw the cast bar.
Yeah.
Did
Stop
he-
before he
so-
did.
Did you get it, Fern?
Nope. He's
Yeah,
going to be
these are a pain in the
stingy
butt.
by the look of it.
But yeah, so it's objectively not a good movie. But when I say that, I don't mean that it's unwatchable. Because it's watchable in exactly the same spirit that you would typically watch an spin-off movie of an anime series. It's got the exact same problems that you would expect. Basically, that they've had to bring in new characters, and those new characters are paper thin, with paper thin motivations and paper thin character development, and basically no real attributes of their own. So, the general plot is that the Oni characters, they're refugees from their village, right? That's what we know about them, basically. But it turns out that they had sort of like an elder brother figure who was one of the gang who left the village to become a mercenary with a bunch of their other dudes and were wiped out just in advance of being of the village itself being wiped out. But the queen of another kingdom, a tiny gold mining kingdom, on the outskirts of the forest, just happened to see the elder brother character sort of at death's door, and basically chose to save him and name him and make him one of her retainers, and basically so he becomes one of her retainers, and eventually the kingdom starts to fall apart, and the kingdom falls apart because it's a gold mining kingdom where the runoff from the gold mining operation is poisoning the lake, but the means that they have to hold it at bay, which has kept them prosperous all these years, has been a magic tiara, which has the ability to purify the water. However, the magic of the tiara causes proportional poisoning to the one that uses it, so the queen is dying. Nope, I didn't get anything. And so basically the Kishin guy is going to try and, you know, get help. Basically, they need to find some other way to keep the kingdom alive without having to just buy everything, which is what they've been doing up until that point because they had so much gold. But they can't keep mining because the queen will die if she has to keep purifying the lake. So they want to get permission from Valdora to cultivate some land in the Great Forest so that they can at least produce some food for their people. And this that eventually results in him running into his former childhood friends who are now all servants of Rimuru, and then, you know, their group of people get drafted into the... Nope, still didn't get anything. They get drafted into the conflict, and it turns out that, there's various people pulling the strings behind it, and so on and so forth. The usual. Yeah. But it's basically just an incredibly bland story. It's fan service from start to finish. It's basically about, there's all these characters that people like from this particular property, and here they are basically strutting their stuff and beating up the bad guys and doing a bunch of things. There's just really nothing to it. It's pure sort of like fan service, candy floss anime. There's no great themes explored. There's no great characters created. It's all very, very unremarkable. But, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't regret watching it or anything. It's just that there's not really much there. It's perfectly watchable if you've got, you know, just some time to kill. And you don't really care that you won't get anything major out of it. That's all that there really is to say about it. It's not... Yeah. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from watching it, because if you like the series, you'll probably watch it. It's just that it's totally unmemorable. There's nothing terrible about it, and there's nothing good about it either. It is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say on the anime front for this week. And I didn't really have any time to do anything else. I haven't really done anything in Blue Archive either. Like, since I got that game, since I downloaded that game, I've basically just logged in to collect the daily free stuff and then gone to sleep.
For safety's sake, be sure you hit the boss at least once.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's not really much in my week. I really hope that it doesn't carry on like this indefinitely. I'm making the assumption that this is a limited time process that is just going to endure for as long as the audit prep period goes. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll fire me and then I can relax.
Maybe.
It could happen. Nope, still haven't learned any spells.
He is super duper stingy. I think I've got...
Oh no, this is normal.
Oh. So y'all were insane. Stingy.
Yeah, the other ones were a lower... The only hard one y'all got earlier was the Siren one, which is a stupidly low drop rate. This is normal.
I see.
We got 4 of these to do.
Alright, well, I've gotten all the rings, so there's that.
You just leave now.
Bob.
But yeah, it's I'm not very happy right now, not in a very mentally healthy space because of the amount of strain that I'm under. But it's just something that you've got to press through. I'm going to get it to its ultimate conclusion, whatever that conclusion may be.
You know what would have helped your strain a lot? You buy Destiny.
Yeah, well, Crunchyroll sucks.
Just
anyway.
Want to make sure that gets brought up at least once.
But yeah, so I'm just trying to survive. Basically, I'm in survival mode. I don't really I don't really know exactly how this is all going to shake out in the end. The task that is before me is basically as close to impossible as doesn't make a lot of difference.
I got it.
Oh, I learned it.
Did you both get it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. We're done with effort.
Effort done.
Now, on to who's next? Rama. What's the name of his ability?
It's a shame none of us actually need the mounts, because this would be a great way to farm them as well.
Shock Strike.
It's not a shame because
We've already done
that means that we've got them.
it.
This is an instant cast ability, so I will just keep the battle log open.
Right.
I do not believe it has a cast bar. I know Shiva's is. I'm not sure about Rama's.
Oh, we'll find out.
Also, get that white wind button ready, Fern.
Oh yeah, the balls mechanic tends to blow you up if you're not careful.
That's Chaotic Strike.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm chaos.
Chaos!
I am seduced.
We must kill Chaos!
Do we
That's
have
it.
to?
Yes! We must kill Chaos.
Okay, so yeah, it's instant cast. It just takes him a minute.
Yeah, I need to play more Stranger of Paradise, because I do love that game. And
Vaul,
just how
stand on me.
awfully dumb the writing is.
Just in case I don't get targeted by the lightning ball.
We must... I'm in love with Ramu's beard. Help.
Yeah. There we
Ow.
go. Now I'm free.
I don't remember how the tethers work in this one.
They're touch tethers, but he dead.
Him dead.
Y'all can fight over the loot.
Just greed roll it all.
Oh no, the loot.
Gotta
I
get
didn't have time
those
to open anything.
sweet
Remember,
Grand Company seals.
You can only carry one coffer at a time, and it'll take forever for you to crack them when you get out.
Yeah, because you can't crack them as a blue mage, can you?
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, they're just going to fall into the void then.
Yeah, it's going to
But,
take way too long to wait for y'all to crack them when we got to run a billion attempts on these guys. All right, Beardy Man. Do your beardy thing.
Yeah. I'm just perfectly miserable right now, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's the short version.
Yeah.
I just have to grit my teeth and keep going. Maybe everything won't be terrible, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Just, if they decide to sack you, try to resist the urge to scream freedom and charge out of the door.
Well, if they decide to sack me, things are likely to go extremely poorly for the business immediately following.
Oh yeah, but that's not your
Because,
problem.
yeah, like it wouldn't make sense for them to sack me, but nothing that they've done so far has made any sense.
Yeah.
So,
why
yeah, I
start
guess
now?
it is what it is.
Judgment bolt.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Nope. Alright, so since Zari was the only one who actually did anything this week, what'd you do?
All right, one of y'all's got to open the battle log and look for Shock Strike that's been cast by Rama, if I'm going to talk.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So, my week was going great. Monday through Wednesday, great week. You know, nothing bad happening at work. There's some dumb people, but just the usual amount of dumb customers. I could live with that. Got home at a reasonable time every day. It was going pretty good. Then Thursday happened. So you may have remembered I alluded to this earlier. Well, no, y'all don't. Fern does. Let me
Yes.
scoot up so I'm actually talking into the microphone.
Yes, come back.
So I got to the office and I see the opossum there with the shop vac.
Oh no.
And I see water everywhere.
Thunderstorm.
It's his tank buster. So just wait for a tank buster whenever it goes off. It has that's it.
There it is, shock strike.
So yeah. The office was underwater.
Okay, where did all this water come from?
The toilet.
Odor.
So me and the opossum had to fix the toilet because it was busted. And we told the opossum's stupid kid, please, if you must use it, make sure the plug closes until the part from Amazon gets here. Although, we would prefer you use the upstairs one until then. He did not do this.
Yay.
Action learned.
You both get it?
Yep. And we're done.
Alright, next up is Shiva, and she only does it in phase 2.
So smack her through the first phase and then wait for her.
Yeah, it's the Conal Tank Buster Diamond Dust.
Oh, not
I think
the...
it's called Diamond Dust.
Diamond Dust is her big transition phase change.
No, Glass Dance, sorry.
There you go.
I think it has it's when she pulls out the bow in phase 2, and she may not start with the bow, so she can be a bit of a pain. So yeah, the office was underwater.
On the toilet.
This meant, yeah. So not something we haven't dealt with at my place of work, but still not a good time. Also, Fern, you might want to get that white win button ready. But yeah, this means for the foreseeable future, I'll be running the company alone from my house with no access to our physical files. Because I do not know which ones I need, and I'm not hauling the file cabinets all the way over to my house for a couple weeks just to move them all back.
No, you don't want to do that. Those things
with
are
all the phones,
a pain to move.
Yeah, with all the phones forwarded to my cell phone. Which means, at all times, I have to have my cell phone on and have the telemarketers call me.
The telemarketers.
So I'm not looking forward to what's coming. Friday, thankfully, was fairly quiet despite all this, but I still had to spend most of Friday getting things organized. Pull out your bow, you bitch.
She doesn't want to.
Do we have to hurt her, or will she just change when she feels like it?
It's a timer, I'm pretty sure. It is a timer, actually, I'm positive. It's like a minute and a half or something, yikes. So we can get stuck.
Which,
yeah, there she goes.
When you're doing her properly, that wouldn't be an issue. We're not doing it properly.
Yeah. Okay. And then she should get the bow out. I think she actually there. Is that the bow? That's the bow. All right, we can Glass Dance. That's it.
Yep. Also, ow.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't have a. I'm already. Whoops.
Oh, there she goes.
But we didn't learn it. Nope.
Oh, we got to do it again. All right. So that was real life. So real life started really good this week and gave me a good bit of free time earlier in the week. Well, the normal amount of evening free time anyway. Yeah. So the first bit of that, I'll do the quick thing first. Played a little bit of Guild Wars 2 because it was free and Abo didn't want to play Final Fantasy. So decided to download Guild Wars 2 again and give it a shot. I couldn't remember my account information. I could recover it, but I don't remember what the heck I'm doing. Might as well start over.
Which turns out being on a free account does lock you out of a lot of stuff.
Yeah, including accessing the server list after you pick a server.
Yeah.
And I forgot what our original server was. So thankfully, we're in the same data center as Fern, or I picked a server in the same data center as Fern, so he can visit the
Yeah.
server that I'm on when we were goofing around with it for a little bit. But yeah, just kind of ran around the game. I don't have much of substance to talk about with the game, unfortunately.
It's still a
Because
fun time. Like,
I just didn't do very much.
no.
You'll see several hours on my playtime, but most of it was me fighting with the launcher.
Really?
Yeah, the launcher was a complete pain in the butt to me. Please.
That's always been the case. Like I remember having huge amounts of difficulty with the launcher, either because it was really slow, it wouldn't connect, or it would get disconnected, or it's never been a great launcher, I gotta say.
Yeah, and it just kept hiccuping and getting stuck.
Yeah,
I
got lucky. I got minimal shenanigans. It worked for me on the second try.
Because for some reason it bottlenecks itself by the amount of files remaining rather than their actual size, and it will throttle itself in its download speed.
Yeah, it chokes on itself.
Yeah, so it takes forever for it to download and patch the game. Like, multiple hours.
Yeah.
For what is maybe 4 gigabytes of files tops. So,
Whoops.
Whee!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Start DPSing. Or, yeah, that'll work.
Alright, we can stop DPSing now because she hasn't pulled her bow out.
No, she whipped it out.
She's glass down from this.
Okay, well, it didn't get it either way.
Yeah, so yeah, it's an interesting game. The game is based, it feels very much so like running around the world and just doing fates and doing some exploring right now.
Yeah, there's a story
haven't really
if you want to go on to it.
Yeah, I don't remember being enthralled by the Guild Wars 2 story.
I don't particularly want to spend more time with Traherne, thanks, Fern.
Yeah, well, I played through it as the tree people, remember? I had twice as much.
Oh, so you had more Traherne, but you were sort of like the chosen people.
Yes. Until all of a sudden he decides, no, you know what, I'm just going to ruin everything. On the plus side, there is a bit of solace that somewhere in the future, kind of towards level 60-ish, I think it is, you do get to kill him.
Yeah, I did find with that game, like, I think that game is really strong at horizontal progression, but I felt like there was so much horizontal progression I never had any idea what to do.
There's a lot more now. Like, a lot more.
Yeah, so it was fun to mess around with. I might mess around with it for maybe a week more, put another hour or two into it, maybe play with Fern a little bit, but
Whoops.
I don't see myself sticking with it.
You kind of smacked her a bit hard.
Yeah, I crit her with Bahamut.
Oh, that'd do it. So yeah, I know some people can really play it seriously, and that's fine, good for them, but to me it just feels like the sort of game that's just great to pick up, faff around with a little bit and put down again.
I have had a extremely hard time going back to an MMO that is mouse and keyboard based, that won't let me use a controller.
Yes.
I mean, I had to actually set up an MMO gaming profile for my MMO gaming mouse. Oh, it's a stick. Nobody likes your stick, Shiva.
Put your stick away. Wait, that sounds dirty.
But
yeah, it's something I think I might just fiddle with if I get a bit of spare time.
But yeah, I don't see myself sticking with it. I can see myself poking at it for maybe a little bit longer, but I'm almost certainly not going to stick with it.
Yeah.
It was just something to do, mostly because Ava didn't want to do anything with Final Fantasy, and we just wanted something quick and free to play. And turned out not to be very quick because the launcher's a pain in the butt.
But yeah, if it's the sort of game that's just, you don't need to take it seriously, you can just go in, do what you like. I like it. And it's not that we really didn't stop it because it's a bad game, we just kind of drifted away from it when we played it, when it first came out.
It doesn't have something that really draws you forward.
No, it doesn't.
Nope, still didn't learn it.
Except for the promise of killing Traherne.
Well, yeah.
Beyond that,
The spotlight stealer extraordinaire.
yes. I bet you, even when you're killing him, he still steals the spotlight. Takes credit for killing himself. Ugh.
I mean,
So,
it's
yeah.
not like there wasn't a lot to do there, but there was just so much to do there that, you know, I tended to burn myself out trying to do the things that were immediately in front of me, and therefore I didn't make anything that I would describe as forward progress.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit front-loaded. Like, Final Fantasy has equivalent amounts of stuff to do. But it kind of drip feeds it to you. Like, it starts you off with a few things and adds a few more, and then as you go, it just adds more and more things. But a lot of the stuff in Guild Wars, there's a lot that is just right there, right from the get-go. And then it starts adding more on top of it. So, yeah, not a bad game by any means, just, yeah, bit overwhelming.
Well, I wouldn't even call it that. It's just, it's not what I'm really looking for right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's a world where maybe I would be in the mood for a game like that, but it's not this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's Guild Wars 2.
That's it.
So now the big, I gotta get my notes out.
Yeah, this is gonna be a chunk.
This is a segment. This is a pseudo segment within the show where I'm going to do my final talk about Eureka Orthos. So, I did it.
You mad lad.
I said it would be my first one, and I got it. I got there in the end.
Bop.
So, Eureka Orthos. So, I'll give a few general thoughts for setup, go through the floor sets and what I thought of each of them very quickly, and then I will give my last set of general thoughts and closing comments on it, and I think that's going to be the best way to I think that's going to be the best way to break this one down. So, we will do that. So, Eureka Orthos is probably the most mentally demanding of all the deep dungeons, while simultaneously being the overall easiest. And I say easy in that it will take less attempts to fully clear it if you're dedicated to the task. However, each of those attempts is going to be significantly more exhausting than any of the attempts on Palace of the Dead or Heaven on High. And what I mean by this is when you go into Palace of the Dead or Heaven on High, for the first 50 floors, you can 3-hit everything. Like, only in the late 40s do you start running into mobs where you don't just blow them up. Oh, I almost killed the boss. But in Eureka Orthos, this is not the case. Immediately, out the gate, you are stuck with a whole lot of HP on every single mob. And as early as the first floor set, even with 99 Aether Pool, you will frequently find yourself pushing up against time. Now, I know what all the people are sitting there saying about it and how, oh, time's not an issue, her. These people are people that have done deep dungeons nonstop for several years now. That are making these guides that are talking about. These are not the people that are you. You are not these people. Nobody who listens to the show is these people. So, if you're the average player trying to progress through it with the skill to pull it off, you're, oh, she got the stick. You are going to wind up in a situation where you're going to be running up on time. So, in order to deal with it, you've got to just be mentally prepared for that going in. Now, that's okay, in a sense, except the first 30 floors of Eureka Orthos are going to quickly start driving you nuts. And I figured out why. It isn't just that there is no warm-up period, we'll call it. It is that the respawn rate is calibrated at the same level that Heaven on High and Palace of the Dead are for the first 30 floors, where the first 30 floors have an insanely high respawn rate. But in Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High, that when they have this respawn rate, it does not matter. I think I just slid in the wall again.
You did.
Fern break us out.
Ow. Very slowly.
As it turns out, yes.
Well, she used glass dance.
All right, we can smack it then. You done, Shiva? Nope.
Nope. Oh, Vulcan just release. Did you self-destruct?
Yes.
But yeah. And this makes the first 30 floors a slog, because every single... You will frequently find stuff repopping on you, and it has the HP of something in the mid-150s of Palace of the Dead. It is just a pain to go through, and if you want the title for the solo clear, you've got to go through them every single time. Not that you would want to skip them to begin with, because as early as floor 7, it can start giving you the really rare commanders, and the rate doesn't get much higher for them as you go up. So you want those extra 13 floors to have a relatively safe time exploring and getting the palms. That does not change the fact that this is a total slog for these floors, and the respawn rate is way too high. It is not a matter of challenge, it's a matter of tedium. You will never, ever run out of time on these floors, but it will get so obnoxious having to clear these, you will be tempted to use palms that you really don't need to, just to make the slog go by faster. And that's a no-no. And more so than Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High, even. The rule of only use palms you need to clear the floors is enforced here. Because later on, the mobs have so much gosh dang HP that you just want as many palms available to deal with the harder floors or the bad floors when you just have to deal with a bad set of debuffs. Because it's not worth Serenitying, but you can blow another palm to mitigate something. Like if you get blinded, you can blow a strength to offset the blinded. But if you were blowing your strength to go through the earlier floors faster, well, you're just kind of SOL then, aren't you? Or you have to blow something even more valuable, like a Dread or something. That's not good. So, floors 1 to 10. There is absolutely nothing dangerous on these floors. Like there's literally nothing that should give you trouble on these floors, except for the bombs the first time you go through. They just have a delayed telegraph on their explosion, and maybe if you get damage down with no abilities stacked with blinded, the behemoths might be able to hit you with their meteor. But other than that, and you can still LOS the meteor, by the way, even if you do get that stack. So you are in no danger this entire floor set. The only problem is the respawn rate is absolutely through the effing roof. And you're just going to be here forever. The boss on this floor, I think they got the health scaling just flat wrong. I think this is a legit screw up on Squeenix's part, and they just don't want to own up to it because people are used to it now. Because this boss just has way too much HP for a floor 10 boss. He is a pain every time you do him. And if you don't get a demi-clone, which is very likely in the early floors, you will have to sit there and very slowly kill this stupid robot watermelon.
Oh yeah,
and it can
watermelon.
On a DPS class, it can take 8 to 12 minutes, depending on how on the ball you are. Like, the dude just has too much HP. It is too much of a pain in the butt. And again, time is not an issue on these floors because the mobs are so easy that once you're in the set to do the full clear, all this set is a slog. Next. So that's it for floor set 1. Floor set 2, 11 to 20. There is not a single mob on this floor set that has the potential to kill you unless you are just asleep at the wheel or hit a lag spike. That is the only way you will die. Like, the Sawtooths have an untelegraphed tail swipe that they will do if you stand behind them, but it's tiny, and you have to try to get hit by it. So literally none of the trash can kill you on the second floor set. It is the easiest in terms of just raw damage from the mobs, raw mechanics from the mobs. You can sleep your way through this floor set. Just don't get hit by anything. Smile. And that's going to be a running thing, is don't get hit, smile, because everything is lethal. Literally everything on a DPS class is lethal, without exception. This is not as true on the bosses. They do have some forgiving mechanics. All the way up up until the floor 80 boss, you can afford to be hit by some stray mechanics from the bosses and just get a Vaul stack and a lot of damage. And you can recover from that. It can be a little rough sometimes. But you're allowed one minor mistake on most of the bosses. After floor 80, you're off to the races, though, and everything will kill you. Oh, wait, what am I doing?
What are you doing?
Bad me.
You're meant to smush her. Don't smush her.
I'm reading while I do this.
Uh-oh.
So, floor 20 boss, more interesting at least. Feels like it goes a lot faster. Feels like the health scaling is actually correct on this boss. And yeah, that's it for this set. Don't just look at where the cones are going to come from, and I have all the safe spots. It can be a little confusing the first few times you do it, but once you have to do it on your own and you have to figure it out, you train your brain pretty quick to figure out where the safe spots are. It ain't hard. And you can eat as much as 2.5 vulnerability stacks before you get wiped. I say 2.5 because Uni can save you, and you can take a third if you use her as the demi-clone. The one fight where Uni is actually useful. Poor Uni. And, let's see. Well, she's useful on the floor 30 boss as well. So, next up we have the floor 31, or 21 to 30 set. 21 to 30 is, not very hard. It has some surprise mobs that can catch you if you just are asleep at the wheel. The Ortho Knights and their electromagnetism that just pulls you in and then will do the melee attack that whops you. That's not telegraphed and is really big, can catch you if you don't know about it. The lesser Orthos Dragon Patrols do Swinge. You should know what Swinge does if you're attempting solo runs in Eureka Orthos. By this point,
have done Stone Vigil by now.
Yeah, like there are so many mobs that do Swinge. You should know Swinge is an untelegraphed frontal cone AoE.
Yeah, it's very, very common now. And it also always hurts. A lot.
Yeah. The Venara have Scythe Tail, untelegraphed melee, point blank AoE. Sometimes it's telegraphed in other instances, sometimes it's not, but it's always a point blank AoE and always fairly small. Get used to the Scythe Tail, it'll come back later. The only other mob that even has a little bit of a challenge to it is the little bit things, Ortho Demolishers, I think they're called.
Something like
and
that.
They're just little robots, and they will self-destruct under 30% HP, or start self-destructing. If you are not playing a class that has the DPS to deal with these, it is highly recommended you book it as soon as they start casting self-destruct or line of sight it. Now, thankfully, this floor set is the easiest to line of sight on, because there are a ton of hallways that just have dips in the floor for no reason. So line of sight ain't that hard on this floor set, thankfully. And then the boss, Tiamat. The final boss of the normal deep dungeon, where nothing too out there is thrown at you. Tiamat has a lot of mechanics. You've seen us do her a few times now. Summons the Shadow Heads with every attack she does. And she will also... do the Mega Flares that splash all over the room and also summon Shadow Heads. You gotta watch out for Hot Wing, Hot Tail, all that good stuff. So that's Tiamat. You'll get her after a while. You'll do her so many times. She'll probably be the boss you kill the most, because farming the 20 to 30 set is very common for people to get their Aether Pool started, and then they'll run 20 to 40 or 20 to 50 to get their Aether Pool maxed. I did not do this. I did a whole lot of 20 to 30 because the dungeon was still brand new and we didn't really know what the later floor sets were. So I got very familiar with Tiamat and could probably do her in my sleep. Next, floors 31 to 40. This set ain't too bad. There's nothing here except for getting overconfident that'll get you killed. The big thing is the Mirror Knights. If you do not respect the Mirror Knight's gaze attack, you will die. I have lost so many runs to just brain farting on the gaze attack or thinking I can greet it out. No, you can't. Did you both explode?
Yes. You give us a self-destruct button, we're gonna press it.
I mean, what else are we going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, hey. That's White Mage, isn't it? Yeah, it's the White Mage one.
Yeah.
Ooh. I saw Kane and got excited for a moment there.
Yep. There are no blue mage weapons that drop. You have the ones from the quest, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think one you can buy for allied seals from the vendor. That's also semi-part of the quest. So, other than respecting the Mirror Knights from this set, the thing to take away going into it is that silver chests now contain the mimics, which means hunting for demi-clones now entails potentially getting pox. If you're playing a caster, without a stun or an interrupt, you are getting pox. The mimics have too much HP for you to burst down like it's heaven on higher Palace of the Dead. You are just going to get the pox debuff. Thankfully, you can still stun them, so making sure you got a full set of demi-clones going into the next set as a melee is possible. After floor 60, however, if you do not have an interrupt, get used to Pox because it's going to be your friend. This is why I played Mechanist. More than any reason for choosing Mech, it was I desperately did not want to deal with Pox. Because Pox is a Pox.
Yes.
It reduces your damage by a significant percent, something like 15%, the whole time it's active, and it reduces your ability to auto-heal. And does a very small damage over time that's negligible. So get used to Pox if you're a caster, and hope you can pull some purities. You can before the gold chests become mimicable, you can mitigate your risk by ensuring you have a purity before you check the silver chest. Although having a full stack of demi-clones is just almost too valuable because Doga can just delete a floor for you. So trying to fish out a Doga is just too worth it most of the time. And the demi-clone rate is much higher than the rate of the whatchamacallits in Heaven on High, the Magicites. Because they're not insta floor wipes. So fishing for them is something that you can reasonably do, and their rate only gets better and better the higher you go.
Still nothing. This one is really being stubborn.
Yeah.
It's probably been about the same number of attempts as Ifrit. It's just taken longer because we have to sit and wait.
I suppose that's also true.
But yeah. So the floor set itself is where you start running into some problem mobs, and you start running into a lot of proximity aggro mobs. Proximity aggro is the most dangerous type of aggro, and knowing what's proximity in the room and needs to be pulled first because it cannot avoid being pulled is very important to the entire run. And this is the first floor set where this really comes into its own. You got your ortho bugs, which are your mechanical bugs, and not to be confused with the ortho spiders. The spiders are sound aggro. But the bugs are proximity aggro and hit like tanker trucks, and also life steal on melee. So being able to kite them, the other reason I played Mechanist was the ability to kite mobs for specifically scenarios like the ortho bug. And this kiting method, being able to kite is a useful tool in and of itself because it applies to more than just stuff that hits hard, but I'll get to that when we get there. This mob in this floor set also introduces the first few mobs with very dangerous AoEs. The Minotaurs have swing and swipe. Swing is point blank, swipe is cone. And you better figure out which is which real fast and how to react to it.
And that's swing without an E.
Yeah. So if you see an E at the end of it, it's a cone. Or rather, yeah, that's right. You made me double check myself. But if you see a G at the end of it, it's a point blank. So there's those. And then you have the last patrols on the set, which are the Ortho Rays, the 4-armed dudes. They have 4-arming, as in F-O-R-E arming, and this hits everything in front of them for like a whole room and some change length and width. You cannot avoid this unless you are behind them. So yeah, there's that. And they also have a point-blank AoE called Etheric, the thing that's not 4-arming.
I'm frozen.
I see that.
Aw.
I will stop your explosion.
Ruin our fun.
This also introduces the Chimeras. Chimeras have been a running thing in Deep Dungeons for a while and are usually considered some of the most dangerous mobs. They're almost always proximity aggro. That rule is broken on the 80 to 90 set, I think. Or it might be the 90 to 100, I forget. But otherwise, Chimeras are almost always proximity aggro, so they have to be pulled, and all their AoEs are untelegraphed. So they're a very dangerous pull. These are just Dragon's Breath and Ram's Voice, or Dragon's Voice and Ram's Voice. The way I remember this is a really dumb mnemonic I came up with. He's drag on me in, and Ram run.
Yeah, that's painful.
Your mnemonic causes me physical pain.
But it works.
It might, but is it really worth it?
Yes. Because you will lose many runs to Chimeras when your brain is fried. Because that's another thing you got to remember in these floor sets. While you're going through them, especially solo, if you're doing it on your own with nobody to talk to, double especially, keeping your brain engaged is the biggest danger in this place I found. Because you will just run out of mental stamina. Because you have to, every floor set is going to take nearly an hour, or right at an hour. You're going to be in here a while. And you will run into mental fatigue if you have to deal with too many tough mobs back to back. So mnemonics like that do help. A lot. The boss is Twintania. She only really has 2 mechanics of note. Is she does Twister, and she does Cyclones all over the arena with AoEs that will chase the player. Just dump the AoEs off in a not safe zone, and then stand in the center of the area and point yourself towards the safe spot to be knocked back when she does the AoEs all over the room, because it'll end with a knockback. And just be sure you're moving anytime she's casting literally anything else, or she's about to dive through the arena. And that's it. You'll avoid the twisters just fine. Latency shouldn't cause a problem as long as your character is moving throughout the entire cast. And that's it for that set. That set's not too bad. The floor 40 set, as long as you remember to respect the Mirror Knights, you're pretty okay. Floors 41 to 50. We have a few interesting mobs here, and this is where we're going to start getting introduced to line of sighting. Now, the floors 41 to 50 set have a lot of mobs that require line of sight, and thankfully this is where you're going to be stuck in the caverns layout for like 30 or 40 floors here, so get used to it. But it's very easy to line of sight in the caverns. Did you guys get it?
Nope.
Nope.
She's being extra stingy.
That's definitely the one we're trying to get, right?
Positive. I remember her being pretty rough too, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just keep on going.
Keep on going.
Yeah, so here we have the Archon or as Meiji calls him, the Giga Chad. So he is the first patrol you run into, and he will do a interruptible quake cast. He is not stunnable though, but if you have an interrupt, you can stop his quake cast and not have to go and line of sight his quake cast. If you cannot interrupt it, you have got to find a way to LOS Giga Chad. I also have my bar set up for Eureka Orthos right now, so I don't have res on the bar. So if y'all fall over, I can't save you.
I mean, we can just fall ourselves over. There is that.
Yeah, but I can't pick you up afterwards. The second patrol is easy. It's a Kelpie. It looks scary. Its AoE looks scary, but the gimmick is very easy to deal with. It is just, it will charge you, and if you are targeted for the charge, run away. And as soon as it does the charge, wait for the charge to hit, pick a safe direction where you know there's not going to be any traps, and just keep booking it in that direction.
Yeah,
and it will stop.
It's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, it will stop and do a absolutely ginormous and super scary AoE, but it will not. It will not put your life in any immediate danger. The other one is the scariest of them, and that's the Abyssal Whorehound, or just the Whorehound Patrol. It has a move called Abyssal Cry. This will one-shot you if it hits you. It is more than room wide and must be line of sighted. You do not have a choice. It has to be line of sighted, and this can make this a very, very scary move to have to deal with. I hate dealing with the Whorehounds. They are easily the most stressful patrols for several floor sets. Oh, I'm getting froze.
Oh, he's also froze, but doesn't really matter.
But yeah.
How much even?
So yeah. Other than that, you got your Bergthurs. Solo, they're not a big deal. If you're in a group, their drop back can kill you. Spriggans hit like trucks. Don't underestimate their damage. Let's see what else is here. Gubus do a pull-in. When they do the pull-in, run behind them. Gelatos explode. Mudmen, not bad at all on their own, but they are proximity aggro. And they will apply a slow to you, so do your very best not to pull them with friends. Kukulkans are the only non-patrol mob in the entirety of Eureka Orthos that can leave their spawn room. Through means the community is still debating, they will detect you, but not aggro, and then fly in range of you in order to put a vulnerability stack on you, and then leave you alone again.
That's just rude, is that what that is?
Yeah, and they're sight aggro, so if they fly at you, they only care about being in range for their point-blank Volnut, which is fairly large, about half room size. So they'll just kind of meander up to you, and if they don't see you, they'll just do bombination on where they think you are, and then go away. And go back to their spawn point. They're very obnoxious and can wind up chasing you across rooms, and the community is still debating on what triggers them to do the chase. It seems to be something around proximity and movement, but we do not have any idea how the heck they do it. There is no good answer. The next boss is your boy, the Chimera, as a boss.
Ya boy.
Yeah, boy.
So I hope you paid attention about my Chimera talk earlier, because now he's a boss with souped-up mechanics. So, you have Cold Thunder and Thunderous Cold. Do you remember Ram's voice and Dragon's voice, and remember what element they were? I hope you do. And the associated AoE with them, because this tells you the order he's going to do them in. If it's Thunderous Cold, Donut, Point Blank. Cold Thunder, Point Blank, Donut.
What's your crappy mnemonic for this one?
There is no crappy mnemonic for this one. It's just read the cast bar. And don't be dumb. He has left and right breathed thunder/ice. The element doesn't matter. He's just going to hit the left or the right. That's all that matters with this. Ice is much more dangerous than thunder because ice has a chance to deep freeze you. Cacophony just makes a ball chase you around that'll explode after a little bit, and then at the end of it, he'll do a left or right, so be ready for a left or right. And that's it. This boss is really easy. He also has a tether somewhere in there that does tether things.
Whoa!
Haha!
I hit really hard. I did 161,000 damage.
Did you guys get it?
No.
No. You'd be joking. No. That's not a thing that's happening.
So, that's the Chimera boss. So, that's your first half of Eureka Orthos. You guys have all done this part. You did it with me.
Yes.
Did you notice anything that stood out to you in the first 30 or the first 50 floors?
There are infinite dogs.
There are infinite dogs. Beyond what you mentioned, every now and again we have spotted occasions where the spawn rate seems to just go nuts occasionally.
Yeah, but that's initial spawn rate.
Yeah.
Like when you load a floor, you can just get screwed on patrols.
Yeah.
This is why a piece of advice I have for people that are playing DPS classes is on the last kill before you leave a floor, try to pre-juice. Get your burst ready in case you wind up with a scenario where you have a 3 or 4 way entry room with multiple patrols coming your way.
And there will be multiple patrols.
This is not common, but it is not uncommon either. So you want to, but just in case, because it can happen on literally any floor, be ready for it. And also, if the chest in the opening room has the potential to spawn a mimic, do not touch it until you're positive you're clear of patrols. Because mimics start taking a long time to clear from this point onwards. So, that floor set, up to 50, I can do in my sleep now. The only thing that might make me raise an eyebrow is the Abyssal Whorehounds that do the Abyssal Cry. But they're just the only thing I have to really pay attention to, because you will do these 50 floors a lot. Alright, and then we have the hard floors. This is where the difficulty pretty much plateaus in terms of damage output and stuff. You're not going to get much harder hitting or much more dangerous than what's on these floors. The AoEs will get bigger, the mobs will get more complicated, but the stat lines for all the mobs pretty much flatline here. So, you have the sprites, which will explode after you kill them. It is a cast when they hit 0%, exactly 0%, and they will just sit there and cast it. And they do not count towards the death count for the floor until the explosion goes off and their corpse hits the floor and finishes dingling on the ground. The most dangerous mob on this set for melee and for ranged DPS is the Ymir. It's a slug, and it will put a buff on itself that will one-shot you if you attack it with any physical damage. So be very careful when you're going through that floor set.
Still nothing.
Come on, Shiva.
I've given my life for this, not once but several times.
You didn't have to.
Yeah, but the button was there.
Yep. And then let's see what else we got. We got the Rockfin's patrols, the sharks. These sharks hit like trucks, and I don't care what the deep dungeon experts say, the damage is not trivial. Like, Meiji rates them a 1 after you pull him. Meiji is insane.
Well, yes.
That is clear.
That is the thing we know is true, but...
Yes.
Like, this is more insane than normal to give the Rockfins a rating of 1 on danger after pull. With no mechanics taken into account. No, they are easily a 3 or a 4. They hit like trucks. Do not sleep on their damage. You also have to line of sight their ability. It's just when you see them casting their thing on you, just go run out of line of sight and don't pull them unless you have easy line of sight and available to you. The crabs are much of a muchness. Just don't stand behind them and don't stand in AoE. The Zaratans are a right pain in the butt for melee. If you're melee, I advise just not pulling them. They're sound aggro, you can sneak by them. If you're ranged, you can outrange their sewer blast and not have to worry about it. If you're melee, you are praying to latency that you don't get jibbed by it, because it'll shoot forward, or back on a very late telegraph that you have to read fast, and immediately after that fires, it's going to fire in the opposite direction. That makes these very, very risky to pull, and in general, I just don't recommend it. So, now, if you're a mech or a caster or something, pull these things all you want. Once they start casting sewer water, just get out of range. You can still DPS while you're running. Stingrays will jump on you, knock you back, do either a point blank or a donut. Just look for what they're doing. And the monks will suck you in and do a very fast point blank. Just be moving when the sucking happens, and latency shouldn't screw you. But that casket does come out very, very fast. And then the boss for this floor set is the Minotaur. The Minotaur, if you watch the video or look at the diagrams, he looks like a crazy complicated boss. He is not. I'm going to get frozen again.
Why would you do this?
Let's see.
Did we actually get the effect of that before you killed it?
I saw Shiva use his glass dance, hit you for 1,000 or 15.17 damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually show up on my my log at all.
It kind of flashes pretty quick, that one.
Yeah, I know the animation for that one too, so I can.
Well, it doesn't matter what the animation is doing. What it matters is what the combat log says. Because if the combat log didn't say that she used it, she didn't use it, no matter what she was doing with her hands.
Yeah, well, it's I saw the damage from it rather. So, and I see it in my combat log right now. She being
Yeah, it's not in my combat log because I didn't get hit. So, I presume that's the reason.
So yeah, the Minotaur looks scary. He spawns a bunch of electrical orbs everywhere after the first set. Just don't stand next to these. They're all simple point blanks. He does swipe and swing. Remember what we were talking about earlier? Hope you remember, because you need to know it for this one.
This is the test.
Yeah, this is the test. And he does octuple swipe. He also has a knockback called Disorienting Groan, but this is totally free and nobody cares about it. It's basically just he decided to do an easy mechanic. So, his big mechanic is octuple swipe. After the first one, he'll pair this with the orbs that are all point blank AoEs he scatters around the room. The trick to this is always stand to the boss's left. No matter what pattern he starts with, because the first pattern is random, it will either be up, down, right, left, and it will always be up, down, right, left for the first 4 hits. For the next 4 hits, he is going to go... He'll repeat the pattern and go up, down, right, left. So it'll be up, down, right, left, or he'll do it in reverse. So he'll do up, down, right, left, right, down, up. So if you are standing to the left, and because he'll do the little flashing telegraphs to tell you what he's going to smack before he does the smacks. If you see it's going to be up, down, right, left, and then repeat, you go behind him. If it's going to go in reverse, you go in front of him. And after the double smack, you go back to the left. If he's going to loop the pattern, you go in front of him after the first hit. Or no, you go behind him after the first hit. And then you work your way back to the front. So it's really easy once you get the hang of it.
Still nothing.
So, keep on glass dancing. I really hope Diane doesn't preclude you from getting it. I don't think it does. I'm pretty sure I've got stuff all that before.
It procs for everyone in the group when it does. But we got to get it to proc.
I mean, I can stay alive if it makes you feel insecure.
I just don't trust myself there. So yeah, the 50 to 60 set, not too bad. And then we get into the 70s. Or the 60 set. The 60 set is free, honestly. There's nothing here to worry about. The Drakes will do the same, will kill you in melee if you smack them with any physical damage. And you hit their damage like shield. Bahamut, please don't kill Shiva. And then the rest of the mobs, none of them do anything of note. The chameleon will tongue you and then do a very fast point blank.
Oh my.
The Diplodocus has a ton of HP in his proximity aggro and is obnoxious, but as long as you pull it alone, its eerie light doesn't do anything. I wouldn't get hit by it. I've never decided to experiment, but I wouldn't. The Perfected does literally nothing but a knockback. The Gyro is the only patrol that's even worth mentioning. It has a uncast-barred, untelegraphed front conal that it'll do if you're solo. If you're not solo or you run behind it, it can also do a tail whip, so don't do that. But all you got to do is pull it to a safe room and just run it around. And if you see it stop attacking you, back up a bit and see if it moves forward. If it does not, keep backing up, because it is going to do the untelegraphed one-shot swipe. So you'll get used to the animation after you pull about 20 of these. And the phallic does literally nothing solo. It is just a angry noodle that does jack crap for damage and literally has no mechanics if you're solo. If you're in a group, however, and somebody is out of range, it will one-shot everybody outside of a donut of its after a few seconds. So be careful of that. So this set is super free. It is a breather set before the Harambe wall, effectively, is what you can treat it as. You're not going to run into any problems here. So, the boss for this set is Eterna. You can get Eterna as a mount if you fully clear the dungeon, and you fully clear it 4 times, get the accessory with the reward you get for clearing it each time. And once you have all 4 accessories, you talk to Quest Lady, and she will give it to you. So the kitty looks really complicated. I posted the pictures before. I'm not going to post them again. The kitty is very easy. I could do the kitty with. It takes 12 to 14 minutes to kill the kitty without any palms. But if you get there in enough time, doing the kitty with no palms is perfectly reasonable. Because the kitty just doesn't do anything. It has one mechanic where if it casts Preternatural Turn, well, it'll tether you before one of the Preternatural turns, so you gotta turn the tether purple by running far away from it, but you should know what the tether is by now. And it'll jump to you and cast Preternatural Turn. If the kitty is glowy, it's a donut. If the kitty is not glowy, it's a gigantic point blank, and that's it. Later on, it will roar and spawn crystals around the room. Look for the crystal that is slightly offset. It will always be the last crystal to spawn. And see if the kitty is going to cast Preternatural Turn while glowy or donutty. If it's donutty, go to the safe spot that's inside of its hitbox. If it's point blanky, go to the safe spot that is near the edge of the wall. And that's the kitty. The kitty looks really complicated, and the charts are all kinds of crazy. But the kitty just doesn't do anything. Does hit kind of hard, though, so you do want to chug potions the whole time you fight the kitty. Next up is the Harambe wall. Floors 71 to 80, and this is where you're going to die a lot. This will be the first drop-off point, is people that have got past the wall of Harambes and people that haven't. Everything in this floor set is dangerous. It is the second most dangerous floor set, in my opinion. I think the 90 set is the most, but only by a small amount. Why? I was not moving video game? Well, maybe I was. I don't remember. I was busy reading notes.
That's right.
But let's see. Let's see here. We got the Toko Tokos are your free mob. They hit hard, but they otherwise don't do anything. Just don't stand in front of them when they cast slow call. That's it. It's untelegraphed. Big deal. Kunoichis are your patrols. They're like the ninjas from the last floor set. They are proximity aggro, and they do a good bit of single target damage and will insta-kill you if below 20%. So do not step on a landmine or pull these right after another mob. But other than that, they don't do very much. The Heffalumps will charge you and do a point blank. Woo. We've seen this before. This ain't too scary. The Wolves do an inconsequential AoE. Or not AoE, they do an inconsequential dot. And then they will buff themselves and do a still very inconsequential dot that you can ignore. You may have to wait for the dot to fall off if you see a ninja coming, but other than that, dogs are not dangerous. The Corals have the Wide Boy Untelegraph Blaster. Be ready to move to their flank, and make sure their flank is clear and not up against a wall. The Unicorns, they're also dangerous. They will knock you back 3 times in quick succession, and then spam point-blank AoEs on you, and then eventually do the triple knockback again. They can send you for a ride across the entire floor set if you're not careful, because their knockback is no joke. Unicorns are very mean. The Thunderbeast patrols, I think, are some of the scariest patrols in the whole dang everything. They have no cast bar, no telegraph, scythe tail. And the animation for it is subtle as all heck. I died to this a lot. Bird of Orthos, simple look-away mechanic, no big deal. Gula Gulo, they claim it's been fixed.
Claim, eh?
I did not encounter any problems pulling them on my clear run. However, other people have claimed it's not fixed. Oh, no, Ifrit, don't kill the boss. I was just pushing buttons. I'm sorry. Sorry, Shiva.
She's angry now.
And then SKA Skatine. There we go. Took a minute. I've called them Syncrits forever because that's what they're called in Palace of the Dead. They're the Owl Boys. They do Chirp. It's a medium range point blank AoE that has no telegraph even after it's cast, but can be outranged very easy. If you get put to sleep, they will one-shot you. So run out of range of Chirp. Flame Beast. Big line AoE that is un-LOSable and is absolutely ginormous. So not too hard, but be ready to run behind them. And that's it for the normal mobs on the floor set. And then you have the 2 that are the problem. The first is the Kargast, which is your Griffin. It will do free fall 2 times. This is a point-blank AoE that is absolutely flippin' massive. And,
Nothing.
We'll get it eventually, because...
Are you sure she has any abilities?
I'm positive. Unfortunately, the alternative is Leviathan. It's not any better.
Ugh.
And his doesn't even do damage.
Ugh.
So, the Kargas, after the 2 free falls, will cast Winds of Winter. They are stunnable if you're playing melee or a tank. So you can stun the Winds of Winter and make them stop. If you're not, you have to line of sight it. And on this floor set, line of sight is very dangerous. And that is because of the next mob. And that is Harambe. Magilla Gorilla. The hardest mob in every single deep dungeon ever. Your boy the Sasquatch. He will, once a minute, while out of combat, eat a banana, make a monkey noise, and then kill everybody who is within a room and a half of him.
Just because he really likes that banana.
And so through pure banana enthusiasm, he will just murder everybody. Now, Harambe scouting is a technique that you will hone over time. Going into a room and going, okay, Do I see any Harambe's? Because you can line of sight the chest thump, which is the actual name of the ability. But you have to be very careful peeking around rooms because we're still in the cave layout. And while great for line of sight, is not very great for visibility into rooms.
How many rooms away can they tag you?
Up to 1.5. It is a 1.5 room or 1.25 room wide, but you got to account for the fact they almost never spawn, smack in the center of the room. They're usually up against a wall or something. So, oh no. I'm okay. I'm okay.
You okay? You okay?
I'm okay. So, use your glass stats. Glass dance. I took 10. Yep, lower up.
Still nothing.
It's getting old, Shiva.
This is how Blue Mage trial farming goes. Unless you want to party finder a group of Blue Mages to do it level synced.
So, that fun briefly, I suspect we'll run into much the same problem.
Well, no, because if you do it while level synced with a group of Blue Mages only in the group, you're guaranteed the drop.
Oh.
But that requires 8 Blue Mages.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys had a full ability suite, maybe we could 3-man it. We'd be here a while, but this is still the more efficient method, and her spell is absolutely necessary for generic Blue Mage play. So yeah. This floor set walls people because of the Kargas combined with the Sasquatches and the Thunder Beast patrols on top of everything else. It is just an incredibly dangerous floor set where full attention is required the whole time, and you will get to the boss with, if you're lucky, 9 minutes. Because you have to very, very carefully do the later half of the set. Even if you're blowing palms to speed it up, you've got to be careful with it. And you don't want to use all of your palms here. You do want to save at least your lethargies and as many flights and affluence as you can for the 90 set. And you can feel pretty free to, as long as you've got a demi-clone for the floor 90 boss, either a Doga or a Onion Knight, you can feel pretty free to use whatever demi-clones you want, because on floors 80 to 100, demi-clones are stupidly common.
It feels like you're just not even counting Unai as a demi-clone anymore.
Yeah, she just doesn't do anything. I'm sorry. She's just useless. She is the booby prize. You use her on... If you get an Uni on floor 70 plus solo, you will use her on a floor that you don't need any help on just to get rid of Uni. Because if your inventory is... You can only pull one demi-clone out at a time, and you can't dismiss the demi-clone. So, if you have an Uni, she's stuck in your inventory until she's used. Dang it, why did I do that?
Why did you do that?
Because you're bad.
Hey, why did I do that?
Right
after you did that.
And glass dance.
Okay.
Shiva, behave.
Drop it.
No
Maybe
dice.
we leave her alive in bow phase. She does cast it more than once. Maybe it increases the
But
odds.
does that matter? Does it work like that?
I have no
I
idea.
don't know.
Like, does it roll each time she uses the ability, or does it roll when she dies?
I don't know, but I'm wondering if the mechanical use of glass dance as an identically named same effect ability might have a different ID on it for some reason.
I mean, it's possible.
I remember a similar scenario happening when I was trying to get glass dance. Not that worked, but that it was a pain in the rear to get. Oh, Bahamut, please don't kill Shiva.
Wait, we didn't get that first. Oh my goodness me, Bahamut. Why do you choose the most dangerous DPS class for this?
And
Because
I
it's
think
all-
called into work, so now that's a thing.
Oh, you gotta run?
I'm gonna have to go and run, yeah.
Okay.
Finish
I
this.
will cover the rest of Eureka Orthos
Next week.
Next week, then, starting from the boss of the 80 set. And hopefully I remember everything. There's a full video.
EurekaOrthos.jpg.
Yeah, there's a full video of my clear of the 9100 set if you want to see me play Mechanist really badly because I'm micro-focusing on mechanics. But yeah, that's there. But that's done. So that's that for me filling time. Serathis, I will get to the story you linked in live show chat next week. I actually did a lot of digging to it. So there is a lot of meat there. It's very interesting. And by interesting, I mean I get to laugh at all your Doom buddies.
It's a little bit horrific too, because the reality is we have to share our oxygen with these people.
Oh dear, is it that bad?
Oh yeah, it's really bad.
I haven't actually looked at it yet, so...
Like an entire Doom community that is sitting there trying to protect pedos.
Oh, one of those types of stories.
Yeah, so yeah, and even the guy that revealed it wimped out on it. He made his video unlisted where he was exposing all this crap, turned off the comments because of tranny hate. I'm gonna let it do it again. This is the last attempt on it. And started making Twitter messages because everybody's just like, oh, of course they were a tranny. Can we say that on YouTube? Who cares?
No, you can't.
Break me out.
Why you do this?
No, she put the bow away. I'm just gonna kill her.
Yeah, still a no.
Oh, I can help y'all get it, Leetar. Yeah. The reason I wanted to go over all of Eureka Orthos like this with it. Eventually, I do want to try and take you guys through it, and I do want to try and get my Glowy Tiger, but I really don't want to go back in there solo again.
Yeah, that's fair.
What are the conditions for that?
4 clears.
Four clears. Oh my.
It does not matter how you get the clears or how many people you take through. Just 4 clears.
Right.
Alright, and with that then, we got to wrap up early.
Man's got to vamoose and go to take care of the responsibilities of being a productive member of society.
I don't want to be one of those.
Yep.
Especially if it means the person who's supposed to work tonight calls in, after they were supposed to start, calls in sick.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I will go over the last 2 floor sets next week, and we can go from there on that, I guess. So that'll be saved week for them to be sure I have a week, because goodness, I'm going to be busy next week. It's going to be hard for me to dig up anything else. And I guess we go to closing comments so we can get Fern to work.
I don't want to go to work.
I want Fern to stay and play Vidya with us.
I want to play Vidya, but I can't.
All right. Email topic of the week. Serathis. I have done quite a bit of digging into that Doom controversy you linked, and I have got the cliff notes of it. But you, as a veteran of the Doom community, have a mission here to write me as much as you can about it and your personal attachment to any of these individuals so that I can mock them a lot.
Hello.
I need to know just how much I need to put extra oomph into my mockery of these people. So yeah. There is an email from Serathis as well already that touches on it. But if you want, you can feel free to elaborate in a second email, and we will read that one as well next week. So, calling the show early. I had stretched my week thinking we were only going to have Serathis' news to talk about. So we will pick up where we left off next week. Maybe I'll wrap up the Eureka Orthos first just to get it out of the way, and then skip my week.
We'll
the
figure
story
it out.
next show, just to keep it contiguous. All right, we'll figure it out then, folks. See you next week. Sayonara. Bye bye.